And as you heard, NDP now up by 101 votes in the riding of Courtney Comox. Still about 1,000 ballots to be counted, but that is now not going to happen until tomorrow. So stick with us on CBC Radio 1. As soon as it does happen, you're going to hear about it here. Well, when Gordon Cornwall's melanoma spread to his brain, he and his wife prepared for the worst. But after a lot of research, they had some reason for hope. Clinical trials in the United States offered access to a drug unavailable in Canada. Gordon's wife, Claudia Cornwall's book, Battling Melanoma, tells the story of the North Vancouver couple's struggle to get Gordon into a trial, and ultimately how that determination saved Gordon's life. Well, May is Melanoma Awareness Month, and Claudia and Gordon have been good enough to join us in studio. Good afternoon to both of you.
Good afternoon.
Hi. Thank you for being here. Gordon, this book chronicles your challenges with trying to access, well, these are American clinical trials that weren't available in Canada.
Correct.
What did you learn by going through that process?
Well, I learned a lot about using the web to research my options.
Mm-hmm. Who did you look to for advice when it came to that? I mean, where did the idea of saying, well, they don't have any clinical trials in Canada that are suitable for me, I'm going to head to the United States?
The first advice came from my oncologist, Sasha Smiljanich. He said, we've tried this. Now I think you should try an anti-PD-1. So there was a possibility of a trial in Edmonton. I couldn't get into that trial. Right. So I got on clinicaltrials.gov and started to research. And there were a number of trials available in the U.S. that I did qualify for.
And what is the drug that finally you credit with saving your life?
It's now called Keytruda. That's the marketing name. At that time, it was called MK3475. Same drug Jimmy Carter had.
Oh, okay.
And which has worked for him, too.
And what does it do exactly?
It is an immunotherapy drug. So basically, the melanoma has its strategy is to fool the immune system. It sends out antibodies that get into the T cells and basically turn them off. So what the drug does is gets into those same receptors ahead of the antibodies produced by the melanoma, and so the T cells remain active and alert to this foreign entity.
And how costly was it for you to go to the United States to seek that kind of medical treatment?
It cost me flight, hotel, and some blood tests and minor medical treatments, but I didn't have to pay for the drug.
And this is because it was a clinical trial?
Yes.
And they were looking for people to participate?
Yes.
Could Canadians now access that drug on this side of the border?
Yes, they can. It's available in Canada now.
Okay. And do we have any idea how costly it is?
Well, it's covered by the medical system.
And so you're still on it then?
Oh, no.
No.
I just had 5 infusions and I was done.
Oh, okay.
I was lucky. I responded very well.
Claudia, tell me why it was important for you to tell this story of going to those drug trials and searching as far and as wide as you did, obviously to save your husband's life.
Yes.
But tell me about the decision to tell the whole story.
I wanted to let other people know what was available and what was possible. And I thought it was important to show also that we sometimes went from a second opinion to a third opinion. We didn't take the first opinion necessarily. We looked for the oncologists who would be helpful. Not all oncologists were very helpful or very up on the new drugs, but Dr. Smiljanich is terrific, and he was very encouraging and helpful. So that was important. We also looked to patient support groups like the Melanoma Network of Canada, Save Your Skin Foundation, and locally. They had lots of information, and made it possible for us to think that we could go down to the States because they had stories of people who had done things like that.
Right.
So I think those things are important for people to realize. And also that you can, as a Canadian, access an American drug trial if a Canadian one isn't available.
So the book is instructive to some degree then?
Yes.
For people who might want to do such a thing.
Yes.
Was it hard for you to I mean, it's been quite a battle and there's been a lot of ups and downs. Was it a tough write for you?
No, I was full of this advocacy theme, I really wanted to help other people. And so that kind of kept me going. And I think sometimes I really don't want people to say, Gordon was kind of told, prepare for the worst, whatever, hope for the best. And yet, there was real hope available.
Claudia, then, what advice do you have for people who are supporting somebody who is dealing with a cancer diagnosis?
Well, it depends. I mean, this one there weren't any good treatments available. There are cancers that have very good treatments available, so that makes a difference. But if you're in one of these, I find reaching out to lots of people is very helpful, like talking to different oncologists, not necessarily just one, talking to other patients, looking on the internet. Those are the things that'll, keep your spirits up.
And what about for people who don't have the resources that you have? As you said, you didn't have to pay for the medical treatment or the drug, but you did have to fly yourself down there. You did have to pay for accommodation while you were there. And you have a great advocate who's working alongside you to look for those trials to begin with. Not everyone has the resources you have.
Yeah, it's tough. People are, like we approached, who did we approach?
The insurance, RBC Insurance, they won't pay for you to participate in a trial, whether it is Canadian trial or American trial. It's an experiment, and they don't cover experiments, which I argued with them, but, there's no, that's their policy, so no help there. I think that as far as lacking resources go, that's where these patient support groups can be very helpful, because they have a lot of information and they can sort of talk in terms that you can understand.
But what I mean is not everybody can afford to buy a plane ticket and put themselves up to go to a drug trial.
Yeah, well, there's that's where our system is kind of unfair.
Is there a policy that needs to change on that end? Do either of you think?
Yes.
I think so.
Absolutely.
And tell me what it ought to be, that change.
Well, I think they should look at the case. You see, when Gordon was trying to get that drug, there were already studies out showing that it was very good. So it wasn't as if we were leaping into the great unknown, a totally unknown substance. It was looking like 40% of people had a response rate, whereas standard treatments were very much less than that. So I think they could have a policy, look at it on a case-by-case basis, and where there is information like that, maybe people could be paid, could get some help with the expenses of accessing such a trial.
Well, it's great to meet you both, and thank you so much. And the book is very instructive for anybody who's going through the same thing. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Welcome.
Okay.
Claudia Cornwall, the author of Battling Melanoma, One Couple Struggle from Diagnosis to Cure. Gordon Cornwall is her husband. 2.5 minutes before 6 o'clock.